The Trump campaign is currently lashing out after a string of new polls were just released showing VP Harris dead even with him in battleground states and even pulling ahead in some key swing states. This article reads, Trump campaign seeds at poll that shows him dead even with Harris in battleground states. And this comes at a critical moment for the Trump campaign when he's already facing heat for his terrible VP pick JD Vance and his sexist remarks, the racist remarks that Donald Trump personally made towards black journalists, and overall this doubling down of this MAGA authoritarian rhetoric saying that you won't have to vote in this next election if you vote in this election. So I want to break down this article, but first, 538's model reads, who's ahead in the national polls? They update as each poll comes out, accounting for each poll's recency, sample size, methodology, and House effects. And it's not perfect, but it currently shows VP Harris up by 1.7 points, and this is the largest lead that any Democrat has had this entire cycle. Harris is at 45.3% if you take the average of polls accounting for their recency, sample size, and quality. Trump is at 43.6%. Kennedy has no chance at 53.5%. I even believe that VP Harris has a higher chance of beating Donald Trump by about 1 or 2 percentage points. So that is great if we can keep this momentum going. If VP Harris can continue relentlessly campaigning, we will be in a good position. So this article is actually written from the New York Post, a right-wing publication. And before you click off, the reason I'm doing this is because I was already going to read this poll, but while I was doing research about it, I saw that a right-wing publication was blasting Donald Trump. I don't know why they're on his ass. Maybe they're trying to get across that he needs to get his act together. So the New York Post writes, Trump campaign seeds at poll that shows him dead even with Harris. The Trump campaign lashed out at a new poll showing that the former president is locked in a dead even race with Vice President Kamala Harris in the battleground states. Trump and Harris notched 50% apiece in the battleground state average, and the vice president scored a 1-point lead over the Republican nominee in a national head-to-head matchup, a CBS News YouGov poll found, garnering 50% to Trump's 49%, and Trump was not happy about this. Keep in mind, Republicans haven't won the national popular vote in a presidential election since 2004, so in 20 years. But Trump's team quickly cried foul, as they always do. Quote, the fake news media continue to help dangerously liberal Kamala hide her record of economic failure and soft on crime policies. Now, as this analysis shows, they'll even put a finger on the scale of polling to inflate results for her, senior campaign advisor Brian Hughes said in a statement. But everything is rigged to the Trump campaign. When Trump loses, when Trump is convicted on 34 counts, the courts are rigged. Judge Merchan is rigged. Judge Merchan's daughter is rigged. When Trump loses an election, the voting machines are rigged. The mail people are rigged. When he's losing in a poll, apparently the pollsters are rigged. The people answering the polls are Democratic plants. The article continues, Trump's campaign dispersed a memo from a data consultant, here we go, complaining that the poll may have been manipulated. In the memo, a data analyst noted how the most recent poll saw an increase of self-identifying liberals in the sample of registered voters by about 1.7 percentage points relative to a sample used in the YouGov poll. First of all, they account for this. They weigh the poll based on these statistics. Number two, I rolled my eyes when I heard a Trump campaign data analyst, because the last data analyst that they had was who? Mike Lindell, who was just a terrible, terrible data analyst, said that the election was stolen on all of these fronts when it wasn't. I also want to go back to this statement made by the Trump campaign. We live in a post-truth era, and you know that when every single word of the statement is false. The fake news media, there's nothing fake news about CNN. They actually have higher journalistic standards than OAN or Fox News or any of these right-wing people or any Twitter pundits. So the fake news media, false, continues to help. They are not helping Kamala. They're actually blasting the Biden campaign for a while. Now they're just reflecting the energy that the voters are showing. They continue to help dangerously liberal Kamala. That is a lie. Trump keeps saying that Kamala is farther left than Bernie. That's a lie. Hides her record of economic failure. That's a lie. The economy is doing great. Actually, Biden and Kamala helped reboost the economy after COVID and soft on crime policies. Not true. Kamala is known as Cop Mala because she used to be tough on crime. Now, as this analysis shows, they'll even put a finger on the scale. It's just total BS. Polls are typically subject to different variations in the exact sample size of those surveys. The Post contacted CBS News and YouGov for comment. Nonetheless, the recent YouGov survey results suggest a stunning reversal from last month when Trump had a 5-point lead over President Biden. And really quickly, I want to break down this article that says Harris versus Trump, a new poll shows 7-point swing in presidential race. You'll probably be hearing about this a lot. The University of Massachusetts Amherst poll conducted between July 29th and August 1st showed a 7-point swing in the presidential race since the last time the poll was conducted in January. The poll went from a 4-point lead for former President Trump over President Joe Biden to a 3-point lead for VP Harris over Trump. That is a 7-point swing, and that is wild. Finally, Donald Trump's polling losing streak grows as he goes a week without a win. Donald Trump has not won a national poll in around a week, with Kamala Harris taking the lead in at least 4 of the most recent polls. Since President Joe Biden dropped out of the race and endorsed VP Harris, Harris has been narrowing a race that had seen Trump soaring ahead. By last Friday, Harris was leading in the national polling average according to the aggregation website Race to the White House, which collated 128 national polls and put Harris at 47% to Trump's 46.9%. So here we go. The YouGov poll shows Harris on the lead 49% compared to Trump's 47%. RMG Research, which conducted another survey with 3,000 registered voters, found Harris in a lead of 47% to Trump's 42%. The Economist YouGov poll has Harris at 46% to Trump's 44%. A Daily Kos or Civics poll put Harris at 49% to Trump's 45%. It is just blowout after blowout after blowout, and the Trump campaign is panicking. They are melting down on social media. Donald Trump sometimes posts on Truth Social till 1 a.m. and then wakes up promptly at 6 a.m. to continue posting on Truth Social. In the battleground states, Michigan went 48% Harris to 48% Trump, with Pennsylvania 50-50, Wisconsin 49-50, Arizona 49-49, Georgia 47-50, Nevada 50-48, and North Carolina 47-50, all deadlocked at or near a statistical tie and all within the margin of error, which of course isn't perfect, but it is a major improvement from a few weeks ago when President Biden was still in the race. If the general election broke along these lines, Trump would still lead in the Electoral College, but 538 does have VP Harris's chances slightly higher. Right now it's about 52% to 48%. Powering Harris's ascent in the CBS poll appears to be female, younger, and black voters flocking back to the Democrats. So there are certain voter bases that we were losing, that were slipping out of our grasp, that we now have again thanks to VP Harris. Now, if she can pick a white male as the VP, which it's not a perfect scenario, but the VP is made to pander to demographics you otherwise wouldn't reach. So having a white male, somebody like Shapiro, somebody like Walz or Bashar or Mark Kelly, all of these amazing picks, or even Buttigieg, they're all great picks and they're all being vetted. I think it would be wise to go with someone like that. The Outlet's July poll found that 58% of black voters indicated they plan to cast their ballots this cycle. Now that figure has jumped to 74%, and an increase in black turnout like that could be wild in a state like Georgia, for example. I mean, black American voters won Georgia for President Biden in 2020 by the slimmest margin possible, by about 11,780 votes. But either way, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys enjoy what I do, make sure you leave a like, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you're leaving comments and interacting with other people. I love to see you guys comment. I read all of your comments, even if I can't respond to all of them, and we're building a beautiful community heading into this election on my Reddit, on my YouTube, and my Discord, so go join all of them in the description below. But most importantly, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.